Do you feel lost when it comes to nutrition, counting macros, and the endless information there is out there about optimizing your energy and getting into the best shape that you want to be in? Jenny, the nutritionist, has designed the nutrition program for ladies who lift weights and want to build muscle and decrease body fat. Vaguely eating less and working out more is not how you create an above average shape. Building a badass shape requires a strategy where your nutrition is aligned with your training and your plan is fine-tuned. Create Your Shape is Jenny's 4-month nutrition coaching program where she'll help you change your body composition. You'll be taught the science of nutrition and you'll be able to create a nutrition routine that runs on autopilot. I have learned so much from her and she truly is the best at what she does. For Mindset Mile listeners, she's offering 10% off her 4-month nutrition program with the code MILE10. Check her out on Instagram at Jenny the Nutritionist and go to jennythenutritionist.com/create-your-shape to learn more and join the Create Your Shape ladies. Welcome to the Mindset Mile podcast, the show that'll leave you empowered to take action towards becoming the turned up version of your already awesome self. I'm your host, Aisha Zaza, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's go. Hello, friend, and welcome back to another episode of the Mindset Mile. I'm so happy you're here. First of all, happy Memorial Day. And I want to take a minute to say thank you to you if you or someone in your family or a good friend of yours or if your spouse serves this country. And also if you have lost someone who died serving our country, thank you to all the military and first responder families. It is not just the sacrifice of one person. It really is a team and a household effort to support those who serve this country. And that job couldn't be done without you and the support that you provide to that person. So I see you and I thank you. So in case you missed it last week, I am going to start a little mini segment on every episode called Ask Aisha. And I'm going to be addressing one question in the beginning of every episode that it comes from you, my listeners. And I'm super excited about this. It's meant to be very casual and low-key and personable as just a way for you to get to know me in a way that might be outside of podcast related content. So you can always send me your questions via DM on Instagram at Aisha Zaza, or I will be putting, bi-weekly the question sticker up on stories to give you a chance to ask there. However you want to ask me, there's really no wrong way. And I'm going to be keeping a list of these questions and addressing one per week. So I have my first question, and it is from a listener who asked, have you ever considered quitting Instagram cold turkey altogether? And the answer is yes, I have. For one, this season of life that I'm in has made it really challenging to post consistently. And if you do follow me on Instagram, you may or may not notice that there are days and sometimes even a week or longer in a row where I just don't even get on stories. And I know I shouldn't feel this way, but I do feel like I need to and should show up consistently. And in a way that people expect me to, because either you know me, you maybe your first introduction to me was through this podcast and you think that you're going to find this all mindset everything page, or maybe it's just an all fitness page. But really what I enjoy sharing is my life and my day to day. And for that reason, it makes it, I'm the only person running my Instagram. So it's not like I have a team of creators and content creators that are posting regularly. It's really just when I have time in between everything I have going on in my life. And another reason why I've contemplated it is because I don't like the way that I am influenced to feel certain ways, even by accounts that I follow where the information is intended to be good. And what I mean by that is I feel like we are in this constant information processing mode when we are on social media. And whether it's great information or not, it's just kind of exhausting to constantly be prompted to think about something or consider what you're doing or trying this new thing. And there are very much ways that I find that to be incredibly helpful. But I also think that with that information comes the thread of conversation, where people tend to argue over certain things or get offended so easily at every single thing. And it's very easy to go down the rabbit hole and to start feeling like, gosh, what are we all doing here? Arguing on the internet. But why I stay on is because I do love sharing my life and I love connecting with my listeners. And I'm constantly doing social media audits of my own feed. That way I am exposed to that type of stuff less and less and just seeing exactly what I want to see in my feed. And I stay on because I do feel like I can be a positive influence in a lot of ways. And it's a very quick and easy way to share that. And for you guys to get to know me in a different way outside of the podcast. So anyways, I really liked that question. That was my first question. I've got a list going. Please send me yours on Instagram, or you can email them to me at aisha@themindsetmile.com. This episode is sponsored by Betterhelp. As a mom of two, small business owner, and self-proclaimed go-getter, the time I spend focusing my attention and energy outward far outweighs the time I have to myself, which I know we can all relate to. But filling your own cup is vital if you want to be able to fill up others. I'm a big advocate for therapy for many reasons, including the tools you can learn to find more balance in your life so that you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/mindsetmile to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/mindsetmile. There's nothing I love more than spending time outdoors, whether that's taking my kids on a walk, getting outside for a good trail run, or just sitting in my backyard or at a local coffee shop to get some work done. But one thing I can't tolerate is the sun glaring in my eyes. Since I'm always on the go, I love having my Goodr sunnies everywhere from my purse to my gym bag to my center console in the car. So I always have stylish sunnies. They're 100% polarized and only $25. They're lightweight and comfortable, and I love that they don't budge when you wear them. From exercise to running errands to beach sunsets, I love my Goodrs. If you want to support the show and pick up a pair, Goodr is giving Mindset Mile listeners free shipping on your first order. You can go to goodr.com/mindsetmile. That's GOODR.com/mindsetmile and use code mindsetmile at checkout for free shipping. And I also posted the link in the show notes. Goodr offers 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. Find your pair at goodr.com/mindsetmile and use code mindsetmile for free shipping. Okay, so let's dive into today's conversation. A couple weeks ago when I was in Maui, I was on a run one morning and I passed right by a cemetery. And it struck me that it's actually been quite a while since I've seen a cemetery. I know that might sound like kind of odd, but I don't know when the last time I saw one was. So I stopped for a minute and I just took it in. And there was like a vastness about being in front of this cemetery that just kind of made me stop in my tracks. And I don't know about you, but on this trip, I noticed that it took me a little while to slow down and to match the pace of island time. As a mom, I don't think you realize how used to being on high alert you are, or the state of vigilance that you're in, until you're removed from your daily life where there are things and people who need you around the clock. And this was a really rare opportunity for me to take this trip, and I seized the opportunity. And for that, I am so grateful, and for the perspective that it gave me to be removed from my daily life. So it really was such a treat to be able to walk out of the door and go on a run without needing to rush or worry about what time I needed to be back, yada, yada. And you could say I was already more relaxed than usual, but when I passed this cemetery, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It's not like I've never seen a cemetery before or know that we all have an expiration date on this earth. But physically seeing the reality of this truth shook me. It's moments like this one in front of the cemetery where I hate, but I am also grateful for the reminder of the fragility of life. I stared at those stones, wondering about the people they represented. What kinds of life did they live? What perspective did they have now that they are able to see their life from the outside? What advice would they give to someone fortunate to still be living? In that moment, the answers felt so obvious and ubiquitous. I felt a wave of gratitude flood me for my many blessings and for the perspective that this cemetery and moment gave me. I know it sounds so easy to feel grateful on a solo trip to Maui without my normal obligations or worries. But that's exactly why I think it's so important to do something to remove yourself from time to time from your everyday life, because that is where perspective gets lost. It's not that you don't have it, it's just that it gets muddied. It's easy to take the things you have in your life for granted when they are right in front of you day in and day out. It's easy to feel like what you're doing is difficult, mundane, or hopeless until you realize that life is happening for you and not to you. Perspective. It's all about perspective. This isn't to shame. It's just to remind you that it gets easily lost for everyone, and to remind you that life is not guaranteed. And even though that is a known truth, are you acting as if? I imagined that the people 6 feet in the ground would say to stop sweating the small stuff and to sure as hell stop sweating what other people think about you and what you're doing, because you can't take their opinions to the grave. But what you can leave instead is an incredible legacy. I imagined that they would say to forgive easier, because when it is all said and done, relationships are what make our human experience so incredibly special. I imagined that they would say to stop waiting. Stop feeling like your ship has sailed, because as long as there is air in your lungs, you still have things to contribute to this world. One of the biggest reasons I even started this podcast was because I wanted to help inspire others to become the best version of themselves and to step into their natural talents, because I truly believe that is how we change the world. That change is not made by colossal efforts and sums of money, but by being authentically you and making a positive impact and difference in just one person's life every single day. Whether that is through your creativity or your product or service or talent or just your kindness, be confident that there is only one you, and that's your superpower to change the world. I realize that sharing this encounter with this cemetery might sound slightly morbid and heavy to think about, but I'm not going to tell you to use your God-given talents and hold back on mine. And I think making people feel slightly uncomfortable and challenged in the best way is one of mine. So yeah, it's time to start living. Every single thing you do makes an impact on you or someone else. Do you want that impact to be positive or negative? This world needs your energy, your creativity, and your talents. It's starving for it, actually. It's time to start living on purpose, to treat your body well, because it is the only place you'll ever have to live on this earth. And by being nice to your body, I mean changing the way that you think about yourself. I'm not talking just about your health and your exercise and the things that you eat and consume. I'm talking about the thoughts you consume. You aren't too late to start. If you're listening to this episode right now, it means it's not too late to start whatever you want to start and whatever you want to change. I imagined those people saying that the regret of not living to their fullest potential and betting on themselves was bigger than the fear they felt to do that very thing. This message, this podcast episode right now, is that moment looking at the cemetery in audio form. That is what this whole message, that's what that moment felt like for me. And you aren't listening to it by accident. It was made specifically for you to hear because you needed this reminder. If nobody has told you lately, I believe in you, and you should too. Please share the heck out of this episode. Encourage your people to listen to it because the world is waiting on them to stop sleeping on your potential. It is time to live, my friend. It's time to live. I will see you next week. I can't wait until then. And until then, make it a great day.